Hello, Michael Gebbin here with CreateInsights.com, your leading resource in video production training and taking your business to the next level. So I'm really excited to intro my next guest here. We've got a really special one. We've got Brian Moran from Get 10,000 Fans. Now, I found Brian about I don't know, 8 or 9 months ago, and he maybe had 50,000 fans on his fan page. Now, I just interviewed him a couple days ago, and he was at 187,000. He's already reached 191,000, almost 192,000. And I guarantee by the time you probably even watch this, he'll be at 195,000. But it's really exciting because I got to meet Brian a few weeks ago, and at that time, it was in an event that he was speaking at. And the year prior to that, he had to be scholarshiped into the $2,000 event because he really had pretty much no money. And now, flash forward 12 months later, he's got this freaking massive fan base on his fan page, and he generated $1.2 million in sales. This is super exciting, super informative interview. We really get down to the nitty gritty, and you're going to want to be able to check out what he's got coming out with Timeline right here. We'll have all the information for you, but just listen, and you've got to take action. That's all I can say. You've got to take action. Facebook is here to stay. It's super powerful, and I got the main man himself here to give you all the insider tips. So enjoy and rock and roll. Here you go. So I'm Michael Gebbin here with CreateInsights.com, and we have a very, very special guest on today, Mr. Brian Moran from the infamous Get 10,000 Fans. So you're really going to want to listen to this interview today because it's pretty special. I found Brian probably about 8 or 9 months ago, and he had about 50,000 fans already on his fan page, and before that he was pretty much a nobody. Now, flash forward to today, he's had $1.2 million in sales with his Facebook page, and he's got 187,000 fans. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit of the backstory, and then we're going to flash forward to what's about to happen, why really you should listen to this. So, Brian, how you doing, buddy?
Cool. You're doing good, doing good. It's good seeing you again.
Good.
So yeah, I guess if you want me to kind of tell the quick and dirty short version of my story, graduated college in 2009, was an All-American baseball player. When I got out, got a really good job that turned into a really boring job. So I was racking my brain, sitting at my desk, trying to figure out how can I get started doing my own thing, and one thing led to another, and I started trainbaseball.com. So I was going to create baseball training videos and DVDs and ebooks to sell to help kids, parents, and players play the game of baseball better. So one thing led to another. Had a blog up, had some products, and no sales, no traffic at all. So I was trying to figure out how are these guys making good money online? How are they driving traffic? So I figured out how to start a fan page and was trying to figure out how to use Facebook to drive traffic and actually build a business. 6 months later, I still had like 0 fans on that page. It wasn't working at all. A lot of what people are trying to figure out today still. They're create fan pages, and they're asking their mom and dad or their friends to join up, and nothing, no traction's being.
A year and a half later, they have 30 likes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the story that we get. So I was kind of at this like breaking point where I was either going to turn off my site and my fan page and just kind of go back to my job and kind of call it quits, or really kind of bunker down and decide to figure out how to make this thing work. So I decided the latter, and started to figure out really what makes Facebook work, how to make fan pages actually drive business. And so what I figured out were 2 different rules on how to make fan pages work. And over the next 60 days, I grew that Train Baseball fan page to 10,000 fans. And yeah, it was like 60 or 65 days. So what that did for me is like I instantly became almost like a mini celebrity in the baseball world, because every other fan page had like 100 or 500 fans. So I was like all of a sudden this popular guy coming into the baseball world. It helped sales, and I was building a big email list. So it was pretty fun for me. And then what I figured out was, one of the things when I was kind of sitting back, I guess evaluating on what I did that past 6 months, was I really wanted to start helping small businesses do what I did. So one of my passions was always entrepreneurship and marketing, and I loved baseball, so I found a way to mesh those two. But what I really wanted to do was consult with or help small businesses do the same thing, which is when I started Get 10,000 Fans, and that was like in the end of 2010. So we just started up, I think it was November 2010, and since then, so just a little bit over a year, we've done, I don't know what our current sales number were, but our first full year in 2011, we did 1.2 million in sales and generated over 185,000 fans, and it's just been a whirlwind ever since. And what I guess what I try to make people understand is we started out so small. I was excited to see 5 or 6 fans come in a day, and just trying to get that one sale of our $27 ebook. So it started so small, but just figuring out kind of how to turn a fan page into a real business was kind of the secret for us. So
Yeah.
so anyway, that's kind of the quick and dirty story of how it all happened.
Awesome, man. That's perfect. So, the takeaway from that for everyone is that, you know, you don't always start big. Everybody thinks that when they see them in a certain spot, they just think that you have been that way forever, and forget that anyone who can take action and is willing to work hard
Yeah.
can make things happen. And I think that's the big thing for you. You didn't just sit back one day and start that, and then all of a sudden, oh wow, all this stuff just coming in. I mean, you've worked a little bit, right?
Yeah. Well, that's and I still had my full-time job up until 6 months ago.
Okay.
So it wasn't just all of a sudden I decided to quit my job and go off on my own. I was working basically 2 jobs until I figured out how to make this thing work. And the biggest thing was just not giving up, trying to actually see something through and
Right.
stick to it until it actually worked out.
And what was that turning point for you? I mean, that you finally said, all right, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to do this. I mean, was it, the financials were there, obviously, but I mean, were the financials there a little bit before that, but you still weren't
Yeah.
sure?
Again, that's kind of a funny story. As soon as when I created Get 10,000 Fans, probably 3 months later, because I used what had worked in the baseball world. So now I had these two, my baseball site and my Facebook site, both making money. And it only took about 3 months after I created Get 10,000 Fans for it to start out earning my job. And again, so I was like itching to quit my job. I just wanted to get out of there. But because I was lucky enough to have some, really close mentors of mine say, kind of stick it out and make sure this thing, is what it looks
Right.
like it is before I left my job. So I stuck it out for like another 6 or 7 months, out earning my job. And I just wanted to make sure that I was, taking it slow and making sure that it was something that was going to last. So,
Right.
so yeah, it was kind of like a 6 or 7 month process.
So big thing for me that we're always curious about is it profitable? And a lot of guys out there throw out a lot of numbers and there's a lot of different things, but you're never really sure. If they say they made $5 million, but did they make 50,000 bucks actually in their pocket, or did they make $3 or $4 million? So where is Get 10,000 Fans at with that?
Yeah, right now, and I think it comes down to the kind of marketing funnel that you have set up. And so I pride myself in the number or the amount of money that I can actually keep. Because again, I don't want to put false hopes in people's, in their heads thinking that they can make all this money, but the truth is they're not going to keep any of it. But the cool thing for us is we actually keep almost half of everything that we sell. And it's because of the effective ads that we're running either on Facebook or Google or, wherever else we're running ads and paying for traffic. We're able to basically double whatever we're spending in ads or in traffic. We're making 2 times as much as we're spending back in our product sales.
Perfect. So another big question I know is that a lot of people out there are working hundreds of hours. They're miserable. They're not converting on Facebook. They're not even converting in their personal lives, doing anything else, but they're just spinning their wheels.
Yeah.
And the question is, are you living the lifestyle that you want and getting to do what you want to do and have the time and freedom by creating this business to do that?
Yeah, I guess there's 2 answers. Now, yes. Before, no.
Right.
But so there's kind of a caveat, I guess, because when I first graduated college and got that dream job that quickly turned into a nightmare job, I was just at a desk 40, 50 hours a week doing something I wasn't passionate about. That was when I kind of went into work and looked around, seeing these other guys that were on their way out, 60, 65 years old, or guys that were stuck there 60, 65 years old because their 401ks had dried up with everything that happened with the economy. And number one, they were, I guess either complacent or just miserable because they had spent 40 years doing something they weren't really passionate about. Now, again, I guess if you're in a job for that long, you get good at it. But I wasn't necessarily good at what I was doing. It wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. It wasn't what I studied in college. It wasn't, it wasn't a passion of mine. And so I was sitting at my desk terrified that the next 40 years of my life, I'd be spending 40 or 50 hours a week trading my time with someone who didn't care about my time. And, making decent money at it, but that didn't matter to me. I just gotten married. My wife worked at night teaching dance, so I wasn't spending any time with her. And it just was one of those things where I looked around and thought, is this going to be the rest of my life? That I'm in the prime of my life now. I'm young enough to go out and play sports and travel and do the things that you can do that I'm not going to be able to do when I'm 70 years old, or when I'm retired, or hopefully one day if I get to retire with the way things are now. So that's the thing. I was terrified. So that's what I told my wife. I said, look, these next couple months might be tough, but I'm going to get myself out of here. I have to, for the betterment of me, for us. It's just one of those things that I just couldn't do. I was sick of not being in control. That one of the things that illustrated to me was, in the corporate world, or any of these big businesses, if I work my tail off for the next year trying to get a promotion or a raise, I might get a 4, 5, 6% raise, which basically disappears anyway. I mean, it's
because you'll work more.
Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly. So now I'm going to make a tiny bit more, maybe a couple $100 a month more, and now I'm going to have a 50-hour work week instead of a 40-hour work week. That's insane. That is flat out insane. So what I decided to do was figure out whatever it took, I was going to do to get myself out of there, to be my own boss, so that I could work, basically have control over my own destiny. That's what it came down to.
Yeah.
So, the 6 or 7 months that I was at my job trying to work, when I, was at home trying to figure out how to make this thing work. Yes, I didn't have the lifestyle that I wanted there. I maybe I didn't go out on a Friday night because I wanted to stay home and work on my site, or maybe I, didn't play on the softball team that played on Tuesday night, something that I love doing.
Right.
But I wanted, the reason was, I guess the flip side is it wasn't work for me. That work
Yes.
after hours, I was passionate about what I did because I chose to start a company about baseball instead of just go right into wherever the money was, teaching marketing or teaching whatever it was that I didn't have experience on. So I think that was one of the keys, was choosing something from the beginning that I was passionate about. And I think that's what really fueled me to keep on going on those tough days when I had no traffic and no sales and Facebook wasn't working, and I had no email lists, and it sucked. And I was trying to figure out, how on earth does this work? And until I figured it out, that was a pretty crappy 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
But it was crappy on the results side, but it was more invigorating. I was passionate about what I was doing.
Right.
I was happy to get up to go to work because I knew I could come home and get work on my, actual
Right.
business. So
Yeah.
it made my workday easier too. So yeah, it all comes down to, yeah, you might not have the lifestyle you want while you're building your business, but for God's sakes, you're building a business. Like, you're going to be more passionate about what you're doing.
Right.
If that's the kind of person you are. If it's
Yeah.
not, this isn't the world for you. If that doesn't drive you to work a little bit extra because you're having a goal of controlling your own destiny, this is not the world for you.
No.
It's just the bottom.
And that's something that I want to say. There's a couple takeaways here. Sacrifice. You have to be willing to take sacrifices to get to your goal. You have to be passionate about it, because too many people just go after something because they think it's a good idea, but not because they're actually truly passionate about it. Because that's how you have that drive, that it doesn't matter when you're working or what you're doing or how hard, it doesn't bother you. You're not going, God, I don't want to do this today. Like, I'm pumped every day right now to get up, you know, and I think you are too.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, what you are helping people do is not sleazy. And I think that's a huge takeaway, because so many people, things online and internet marketing, I think, has a really bad taboo that I want to put out there for people.
Yeah.
That a lot of the things out there to make money online is just that. It's some kind of make money quick, rich, schemy thing that is really sleazy. And with you, you're teaching small businesses, big businesses, all sorts of people to make money online with Facebook, because Facebook is it right now. Aren't they almost about to hit 1 billion users?
Yeah,
I
something
think
like
there's only 3
150.
billion people online,
Yeah, yeah.
and then out of the 6 or 7 billion on the earth. So it's huge. All right, so we've talked about all that, but let's get to what really is happening right now and why you have the knowledge and the know-how to really help people with this huge change that Facebook is about to implement on everyone across the board who has a fan page. And
Yeah.
also one little thing that I want to bring up in a little bit that's about people who have fan pages on their personal page. Because I don't know if what I'm hearing is true or not, but we'll get on that a little later. But
Yeah.
tell us what's going on, man.
Yeah, so again, our whole thing, and I understand our business name is called Get 10,000 Fans, but that is the last thing on the planet that I care about is getting someone else more fans. Because the truth is, what I want to help people do, and what our products help people do, is increase revenue, increase sales, increase the size of their list. We try to actually make social media do something for their business instead of just wasting their time, which most of the social media experts out there are, hey, how to get more followers or more YouTube subscribers or more Google Plus followers or Facebook fans. But what on earth is a Facebook fan good for? They're not good for anything. Customers are good for businesses.
Yes.
Fans, all fans do is boost someone's ego and make them feel good about what they're doing. A fan doesn't help your business. You can't sell a business and say, "Hey, it's worth $1 million because we have, 500,000 fans or whatever it is." It doesn't work that way. It's how many sales can you generate? What kind of list do you have? So, and that's what we're in the business of, is helping people grow their business. So anyway, the way that we do that is we've customized fan pages to capture leads or to capture, emails, phone numbers, to help you build a list and to help you eventually sell your products from you right inside of your fan page. What Facebook's doing in the next week is they're changing everything. The whole layout is different. People think custom tabs are dead. People think that you can't drive traffic as well as you could before. And what we've done is we've had early access to the timeline layout. So for the past like 4 weeks, we've been testing literally everything, probably 15 or 20 different landing pages, techniques for driving traffic, techniques for running ads, everything. And what we found, and again, a lot of the people crying wolf out there saying that, Facebook they're against brands, or they're only for brands, they're only for advertisers, they're against small business, these layout changes aren't going to help, they're hurting businesses. All of that is absolute crap. And what we've tested is with our new landing page styles and our new ways of driving traffic, we've seen an increase of opt-ins, sales, leads. Pretty much every static or statistic that we track has gone up over 50%.
Wow.
Our opt-in rate went from 19.1% to 32.6%, which is an over 50% increase in leads, which directly increases our sales by the same number. And it's pretty crazy. So I'm so pumped because we have actual numbers, hard evidence, where everyone else is just kind of hypothetical and theoretical, all the people that are kind of screaming and teaching these new tactics.
Right.
Well, we've split tested and we have screenshots of our split testing software that actually show people, hey, these are the results we got. These are the 5 pages that we tested. Here's how you can implement it in your business. And here's how you can actually start to use Facebook and now the new timeline layout to drive leads, to drive sales better than your website does by itself. So again, we're the new training is called the Fan Page Timeline Blueprint. I'm super pumped about it. I think it's going to absolutely change the way people use Facebook. And people need to give Zuckerberg a little bit of break, because I think they think that he's so for advertisers and big brands, but the truth is, with this new timeline layout, he's given businesses a brand new way of telling their story. When I did a lot of research into storytelling and marketing, just because I saw Facebook kind of making this switch, and what I found was that some of the best sellers of products were not advertisements; they were TV shows and movies, because they tell this story of a product, or they incorporate products into these stories. And one of the best examples I found was the movie Top Gun in 1986, which came out like 6 months before.
That's year I was born.
Yeah, me too. It came out before I was born, so it shows you how young we are. But anyway, so Ray-Bans were all over that movie. Tom Cruise is wearing these Ray-Bans like a stud the entire time. But what most people don't realize was the day the movie came out, Ray-Ban sales jumped 40%. So it was just crazy. And it was not an ad for Ray-Bans. They didn't say, "Hey, go buy Ray-Bans" at the end of the movie with a big add to cart button. They just told the story, made these things look awesome,
Yep.
and people connected with it and said, "I have to have whatever those guys were wearing." And it's the same thing. Apple does that too. Apple doesn't hard sell you on anything.
Yep.
They tell you stories about how people use their products. And
It's the why, not the what. That's what I've been learning
exactly,
lately.
exactly. So the cool thing is, I think Zuckerberg and their Facebook dev team or whatever it is, they're giving businesses a brand new way of telling their story, and incorporating their products as the solution to whatever the problem is. And it's just the numbers are pretty staggering the way that fan pages are now converting. So we're excited to show people how to do it.
Sweet, man. So can you give a few ninja tricks that I like to call things out there of a few just little, secrets that maybe you can give out there to the audience that could help them out. I know you always like to give your 2 free tips or whatnot. So what's something that's just really powerful that someone might not know right now, just kind of, looking around and hitting some buttons?
Yeah, so
it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, one of the first things, we actually created a complete report for this that's inside the product, but I'll give you kind of the quick and dirty of it. And it's our storytelling layout or system or blueprint for the new timeline. So if you've seen the timelines, you have your cover image up at the top, and then as you scroll, it unveils kind of the next couple events that happened on your page. But now with the ability to post photos and milestones on your timeline, you can tell the story of your business on your timeline. So you can start from day one and have a nice big banner that says, "Hey, Get 10,000 Fans was born September 1st of 2010.
That's awesome.
It's the same thing with the timeline for your profile. If anyone has seen their timeline profile on Facebook now, it's addicting to scroll down and kind of relive your life and to kind of look down and, oh my gosh, I remember that beach trip. I posted these photos. I'll remember when my, girlfriend, who's now my wife, said this to me on Facebook, or, so you kind of relive that story. Yeah. But so now with fan pages, you can tell the story of your business. So we start off with, hey, we were born on this day. This was our first big product launch. Hey, on this date, we hit 10,000 fans. On this date, John Doe reached $10,000 in sales because of this trick that he learned. So we got a chance to tell our story and our customer's story and build this huge community. And then they're all on this like scrolling timeline. So when new traffic comes, what we're seeing is people scrolling down on the page, reading every single event that happened. And they're kind of diving into the story of our business, getting more connected to us and more, they trust us more. They see the other people that we're helping. And it's selling our products for us without having to sell. Because I hate selling. I'm not like a sleazy car salesman. It's not something I enjoy doing.
Right.
I understand it's necessary, but this new timeline layout lets you do it without being that like sleazy salesman, because you're telling the story of your product. And we're seeing sales jump like crazy. I mean, a 50% increase in sales.
Huge, man. That's huge. I mean, that's real numbers, and that's what people want. Not hype, not this and that. Like you said, I mean, the 187,000 fans and the way you've set it up, that's a direct correlation to sales and conversion and leads and all this kind of stuff. You're not just getting, because I remember that's something with Train Baseball. You went and had a big boost, I think, at one time, but no sales because of some of the tricks. But all it was getting a bunch of likes, but they weren't targeted. Now you know how to target, and that's part of the system to help people target their leads.
Yeah, we help you. It's not a traffic generating course, but we have a bonus in there that's all about traffic generating. The course in and of itself is the power and layout and system behind setting up a fan page that actually boosts sales. Mm-hmm. So then one of the tricks that we have in there is a little bonus course on generating traffic is, how to go find your ideal prospect on Facebook, how to find micro-targeted people and bring them to your fan page. Because one of the mistakes I made when I first started my baseball page was I wanted to be the player's guy, like the trained baseball or the baseball trainer or instructor who, I was the young guy, so I wanted to talk to all the young kids and be the cool older guy that they all like. Yeah. So I reached out and I found groups of young kids that played baseball, and we built, I think we got like our first 6,000 fans in probably like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. but no sales. And I was thinking that kind of sucked. Like everyone thinks they're like, oh, cool, this guy's got, 5 or 6 thousand fans. But what they didn't know was I was losing money on the back end.
Right.
Just because you have a ton of fans doesn't mean you have good products or a profitable business. So what I realized was baseball players don't have credit cards. A 12-year-old kid might love my stuff, but he's not going to buy it. His mom and dad are going to buy it. So when I turned the switch and figured out, okay, so now I thought I had the right person, but I didn't. And I think a lot of people do that for their businesses. They might not be targeting the right person who's really the decision maker or really someone who's going to buy their products or invest in what they have. So I made the switch and started to find baseball parents and coaches through other groups or other fan pages. I targeted them, brought them in, and then that's when I finally made my first dollar online. So
Sweet.
yeah, so that's we teach all that stuff too.
So yeah, that's the big thing, and that's a big thing for people to keep in mind, because the last thing they want to do is go spend money on ads or do certain things just to drive a bunch of traffic.
Yep.
And you spend a bunch of money, but you don't make any money. And that's another thing. I mean, you have a lot of stuff out there to teach people to do stuff for free to gain traffic and leads and conversions, but then you also have stuff that you will have to spend some money, correct?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is I understand not everyone can go buy, our stuff. Even a $47 purchase today, it's a big purchase for some people. So, and I want to help everyone. You don't have to buy my stuff to learn from what I've done. Number one, you can watch what I do every day and go see all the stuff that we're doing. But I want to make sure that there's good free content out there. So we have tons of videos on YouTube or on our blog or on our fan page. And even if you subscribe to our newsletter, we walk you through, I think it's like a 10 or 12-day free coaching program. So it's like a product in and of itself. So yeah, I mean, eventually, obviously, we want to bring people up that scale, help them make some money, so then they have money to invest in our products or trainings that help them grow even bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have free stuff all
Well,
over.
I mean, even actually, what they've let's say they've bought your stuff. I'm
Yeah.
saying there's tactics that allow them to grow organically without spending money,
Oh,
and then there's also the way you can spend
yeah.
money. So
Yeah, 100%. That's the nice thing about Facebook is it's not a one-way street. You don't have to spend money on ads. A lot of people think you have to spend money on ads. What they don't realize is out of our 185,000 fans, and again, I can pull up the stats here, but a rough estimate, I think less than half of those we actually paid for. Because I think once you kind of get to a certain level, your page just grows virally.
right.
But yeah, you do not have to spend money on ads. You can get traffic for free on Facebook through there's probably 20 different ways you can do it. And we go over a lot of those in the course too.
And I want to bring up couple last things. Is one thing that I think people need to know that I've learned is all of this is great, but if you don't take action is one thing, but two,
Yeah.
if you're not consistent.
Yeah.
People who just think that they can put the fan page up, they can make it look sexy, they can load a few pieces of content to it, and then voila, money
Yep.
starts rolling in. It's like if you want to invest in this and you want to make sure that your Facebook page can start converting to sales, this is something. I mean, what is some tricks actually that could help someone know what could they do if say they don't feel like they want to get on there every day? Do you say, well, then maybe you shouldn't do this, or are there some avenues or ways for them to constantly load new content so that it's engaging, but maybe they can't do it themselves? If you're a
Yeah.
smaller business.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I'm a perfect example. Like I said, it took me 6 months to get my first real fan. I mean, I had maybe 100 fans on Train Baseball before then, but to full disclosure, out of those 100, I bet 99% were, my friends and family, coworkers. Like I'm begging people to come like my page. So it took me like 6 months to really grow the thing. So this is not something that's just push button easy. I'm not selling a piece of software that you just, click a button or plug in some stats and all of a sudden people start flooding in. This is not a if you build it, they will come thing. That is not how social media works. I don't care what guru tells you it is. It's not that way on Twitter. It's not that way on YouTube. It's not that way on Facebook. You don't just build a sexy fan page and all of a sudden people start flocking in. On the flip side, it doesn't take an hour a day of work to go make this thing work. It does if you don't have a system. If you're trying to figure it out like I did, yeah, it took me 2-3 hours a day for 6 months to go find the right tactics that made it work. But now that I know which ones work, I just go in maybe a couple times a week and tag this page or put a post over here or send an email to my list here and do like a couple little steps that all of a sudden bring all this traffic in. And then that funds the money that I use to go buy ads and just kind of make the whole thing snowball. And after you get that snowball effect, then it starts to work on its own a little bit. Right now, I basically could turn off all sources of traffic. I could turn off our ads. I could stop and pretty much neglect my fan page and just leave it there. And it will grow just because it's so big now. But if you know what you're doing and you have a system to follow, it's just little tiny things here and there, maybe an hour of total work a week. Maybe a little bit more, maybe like an hour, 1 to 3 hours, just to kind of go in there, find out who you're trying to target, do a couple little steps, and then the traffic starts to come. But yeah, people, the mistake they made is they think if you build it, they will come. It's just not how it works. People don't just find your stuff. I wish it was. I wish I could sell you guys that. But sadly, it's not how it works. So
Yeah, and full disclosure for everyone out there listening, I want you to know that he's got great stuff. Brian has amazing stuff. You can do research, look elsewhere. Everybody's got their different things, but if you want to succeed, what I ran into some trouble with is there are a million different ways. There's a million different people. And you'll take no action and you'll get nothing done if you go start researching 1,200 different people to learn from. Because then you're just going to get, oh, well, this guy's doing this and this guy's doing this. What do I do? Then you don't do anything. Paralysis by analysis. I learned that from Tim Ferriss. And it's so true. So, I mean, he's going to have great free stuff, great paid stuff to check out that's really going to help, move your business into the next level. A few Spitfire things to get by real quick. People with regular personal pages that have kind of a fan page. Are they in 6 months from now going to shut you down for doing that?
That is a good question. I mean, I guess it comes down to no one really knows what these guys are going to do. Here's
speculation right now.
My take is I can have my own personal profile, which I do. I can have a fan page for myself as a celebrity or a guru or whatever I want to call myself. I can do that. You can have fan pages as a person. What you should not do is use your personal profile for marketing reasons by mass friending people. Because remember, a personal profile, you can have friends, and that's it. You can have 5,000 friends. You're limited. You can't have custom tabs. You can't collect emails, make sales. All you can do is friend a bunch of people that you don't know, spam a whole bunch of people, and then send them messages to go off to your site. That Facebook's going to crack down on. I guarantee it. Number one, you shouldn't do it because you're not supposed to. You shouldn't do it because it's less effective than a fan page. You're limited to 5,000 friends. If I was limited to 5,000 fans, we wouldn't be talking right now. I'd still be at my job. You're not supposed to do it. It's not meant that way. Facebook created fan pages to give businesses an edge over a personal profile. So use a fan page. It's just, it gives you more things. You can collect leads, you can make sales, you can have as many fans as you want. So the whole personal profile thing, if anyone's teaching you that stuff to go out and mass friend people and you're basically spamming a whole bunch of Facebook users, Facebook's going to catch on, and they don't like it. We'll put it, nicely. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't want to find out. And I hope none of my students find out. So we'll just leave it at that.
All right, so the other thing that I want to ask is the custom tabs. Now, without a piece of software from someone out there, you cannot create custom tabs where you can put email signups, you can put your website on there. There's a lot of power. Is that correct? Because some people are going to be seeing these different pages from big brands and things that they see from you, and even us, that are going to have these custom tabs with custom icons and buttons. Now, how can people achieve that? Can they achieve it without paying?
There are a couple free tools out there, and we use one of them. Static HTML is one of them. It's a Facebook app. When we say software, me and you probably don't get scared, but I know a lot of people get, I need to build software. Right. It's just an app. It's like an iPhone app, kind of. Facebook has a whole store of apps, free and paid, and so you basically have to create your own app. You can build one on your own. If you have any development experience, you can go Google it and figure out how to build one on your own. It's a little bit tougher.
People won't like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I tried to do it. I actually know how to do it now. They don't come out looking very pretty, but I can get it done. But there's some free apps out there that you can use that are pretty powerful. You have to do a little bit of code or copy and paste if you have someone that has something you can use pretty easily. But yeah, and then there's a whole bunch of new premium software applications that you can just get a subscription to for 25 bucks a month or 100 bucks a month or whatever they are. And we have one that we use we built and we partner with someone on. There's a whole bunch of them. The one I use specifically because I want to build a list, and it helps me do that more effectively. But yeah, so there are free options and there's paid versions. It just depends on what kind of features you want, how easy you want it to be, and all of that. So
Yeah. I just want to give a plug to yours because that'll be something that people in your training and wanting to utilize some of these things, I know that my audience and a lot of the people we'll be dealing with aren't going to want to go out and how to figure out HTML code. Now, I know that's free, and that's going to be great. Like we said, you got free stuff. We have free stuff. There's all sorts of free things.
yeah.
But to get things done easier and more efficiently, what is yours that people would be able to check out?
Yeah, so ours we actually released last year. It's called the 5-minute fan page. I think the URL is 5 spelled out FIVE 5minutefanpage.com/live. I think we actually have a special going on now. But either way, it's basically it's all web based. You don't have to download anything. You just go on, choose your template. We have all the templates that we use that are these ones that actually convert really well now. So you basically can just copy the templates that we use, plug in your video, plug in your text, plug in your pictures. It has built-in like picture editing. I mean, you don't need to know anything. I showed my dad, who's like the most computer illiterate person I know, how to do this, and he basically figured it out on his own in like 5 or 10 minutes. So it's really nice. It's easy. It's one of many options, but I think it's the best one. We kind of looked at the flaws of all the other ones out there and tried to meet those. And people love it so far. It's been an awesome tool. So
rock and roll. I don't think I got much more. I appreciate you taking the time today. Anything else you want to throw out there?
no, that's it. I think whether or not, like you said, whether or not they learn from me or any of the other people out there, choose someone that you trust. Choose someone that has the same goals as you, the same objectives that you want to have on your fan page. Again, like I said, if your goal is to just get a ton of fans, I'm not your guy. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You can use our tactics to go build a whole bunch of fans and ignore everything else, but that's not my goal. It's not the goal that I try to, I guess, instill in all of our students and all of our clients. But like you said, choose one person to learn from, because you're going to get confused. The more people, the more products you buy, you're going to get, you're going to be in this whirlwind kind of spiral, and you're going to be where I was during that 6 months that I was trying to figure this out. But get, someone that you trust, that you think is going to help you out, and just stick with that and see it through. You know what I mean? Be ready to actually take some action, not just let it, collect dust on your shelf. And yeah, you'll be on your way. So that's it.
All right. Well, again, Michael Gevin here from CreateInsights.com with Brian Moran. I got to meet him a few weeks ago at Underground Online Seminar. I hope we're going to work together here and rock out some stories, some films for you, because that's our specialty here in the future. And that's about all I got right now, man. I truly appreciate it, and I will talk to you later.
Sounds good.
Thanks.